So, I quit my job on Wall Street to save the family business. Now what? With no experience in manufacturing, I started an air filter business in Alabama with no idea what I truly got myself into.
If I had to put a number on it, we would be in the neighborhood of 100 million units of air filters that we have produced and sold since inception. Just this year, we passed the $1 billion sales mark, so we've sold over $1 billion of pleated air filters since 2012.
Follow me through the early days, building out my business from the ground up, and learn a few of my biggest lessons from those first years building out Filterbuy into what it is today.
The gurus on social media like to show you the end result. They like to show you the lifestyle. They like to show you the private jets. The reality is, to build a successful business takes a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. I think it's important to share with everybody what running a business actually is like. You know, the first thing probably people don't want to hear, but it's a lot harder than I thought. If you're really setting yourself up to go into some type of entrepreneurship journey, you got to be prepared for the slog. One piece of advice I normally give people that are thinking about doing something is you need to be prepared to give yourself at least 2 years of runway before you take any money out of your business, and you need to have the stability of that and the commitment to that before you really can get started. So my first 8 years of doing this, I was honing the processes that allowed me to open what you see behind me in about a 2-month period.
Although my business expansion is at this point now, I significantly underestimated the learning curve of manufacturing pleated air filters. And in the first couple of years, we lost money on every single filter we produced.
I'll tell you this, my first day here, I thought that they sent me to the wrong company. The first person I met was Gary. He took me through this plant. All the lights are off, there's no machines. And he told me what this company would be. And you know, I'm 18, I'm fresh out of school. I'm like, he's crazy.
The earliest problems that I remember for sure is the early machines, not knowing how to run them, not knowing what was good, what was bad. I was a little bit cheap and decided rather than going with the more standard filter machine manufacturer, we used an independent guy. We got the first set of machines and Gary couldn't figure out how they worked because it turned out that they were not built correctly, and so there was not like any machine that he had ever dealt with before. It was like, I just don't understand how this all goes together. So then the guy had to take it back, and it was like another month before we were actually able to get started. And I was so mad because I spent so much money on getting this thing set up and was so determined to get going. I just wanted to get started manufacturing. So the laminator is the machine that almost put me out of business, and I almost cried uncle. I rented a 20-foot Penske truck, drove to Indiana, got trained on that machine on a Friday, drove through the night, trained the team to use this machine, this laminator, all day on Saturday. When I was training them, I got a little overzealous. It was not stopping in the way that I wanted to, and I mistakenly put my hand in and I was grabbing onto the wire to kind of fix a piece of a machine, and I almost cut off my finger, and I have a scar to prove it. You see all these rolls of raw material that it takes in order to make a filter. We were using that machine and at least half of them were waste because the glue was never drying on the original machine that we bought. And I found out that there was a hot glue version of this machine. You know, I was able to find it, put it into place, and then that was really the turning point for the business. One of the things that you hear me say a lot, is just kind of part of my business philosophy, is that any problem in business is solvable. And this was just another representation to myself of being faced with a very significant problem that nobody else would have thought was solvable. And time and again, I've proven that to myself. And over time, when you build that muscle, you become more and more confident in your ability to be able to problem solve. And that's how you, over time, build a sustainable business. Every process or every system that you see throughout our business is something that I originally built. The way I did that was through reverse engineering, kind of using a first principles type approach. If I want to solve this problem, what is the path of least resistance for me solving that problem? So an example for that here would be our pick tickets. We struggled for years where we would get the wrong label put on the wrong box at the end of our line because people got confused as to what order it was at the very end. There is no software that you could go out and buy that would do this for the pleated air filter market. And so you actually see that they have it up here on the computer screen. We call it admin supply buy. It's a system that basically keeps everything here organized. That system is something that I have built and evolved over the years based off of my experience in actually operating in this facility.
The next year we started producing our own filters. The next year after that, we started doing B2B. And then the next year we were adding more lines, and then we started adding buildings, and it just doubled every summer.
What's the thing that surprised you the most about the last 10 years?
How fast it can grow. Doubling the business, tripling the business, expanding.
And because of YouTube, we're gonna grow even faster. That's part of the reason we're doing this whole thing. That's really part of my secret sauce in this, is that I was able to, over a long period of time, stay focused on a singular idea in a fairly large market, compound that success over a long period of time without seeing the tangible reward of that, which is what allowed us to get to where we are today. Bad things happen, but sometimes you just have to take assessment of your situation, be willing to tweak it a little bit. Being honest with yourself and honest with what you're trying to achieve is really what gives you that vision to be able to push forward through those times. This channel, I want it to be your permission to go out and build your vision, build your life, build your business, whatever it is that makes sense for you. I think the sooner that we all get to that kind of self-awareness and realize who we are, the sooner we can start the journey of becoming who we need to be.
After building out a manufacturing and logistics business from 0 to $70 million in annual sales in under 8 years, I thought we were finally in a good spot. Then COVID hit.
So this was the exact spot that I was standing during COVID, early April 2020, when our FedEx rep came. He was warning me that within the next 2 weeks, FedEx was actually going to cut the number of trailers that we were able to ship from this location.
Don't forget to subscribe, because next week I'm going to show you what happened when the COVID pandemic forced me and my business into a corner that almost crippled me.